Love you.
You know, I have been watching season 10 episodes.
Okay.
Which
Why?
Well, my daughter and I have been rewatching earlier Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped buying the DVD sets at about season 10 is where I stopped because
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I didn't
For
think anything
reasons.
after that was worth it. But they're not too bad in season 10. There's some interesting episodes
No,
in
there's
there.
still.
Yeah, they were still on it.
Yeah.
Still all right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know how much further we'll go through that.
How far can you go, huh?
Maybe we'll watch the Simpsons movie at some point too, because that was okay,
Was it?
right? I
Not
remember it
really.
being
It was
okay.
inoffensive.
Extremely
compared
inoffensive.
to the episodes that were airing at that time, I suppose not, but
Yeah,
that doesn't make it good.
the episode with Alec Baldwin and Ron Howard and
Kim Basinger.
Too funny, and that was from season 10. So yeah, the Gersh Agency.
That was very much one of the kind of early.
That was one of the
Hey,
last.
look, it's a celebrity name.
I know, but it was funny though. It was a funny episode.
Okay, I haven't seen it in quite some time, so
I thought it was funny.
I can't say.
Museum of Hollywood Jerks. All right. Hello and welcome to episode number 902 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. I'm your host, Chris Johnston, and with me as always from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Yellow.
How's it going, sir?
It's going. It's been a week.
Yeah?
Since we last spoke.
Oh, geez. Are you having a good Mario Day, at least? We're recording on March 10th here.
Hello, it's a March 10th.
Yeah, I was just watching a friend of the show, Ben Rivers, stream Super Mario World.
Oh, excellent.
That's a good game.
It is a good game.
Almost as good as Super Mario Brothers 3. Really close.
I agree.
Almost.
Very close.
Yeah.
Almost. I mean,
It was
a good
effort.
away from
It was
Yoshi's
a good
Island.
effort. Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's a different, yeah.
And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
That's me.
Returning.
Yep.
From your brocation.
Finally.
Yep. Yeah.
The happiest place on earth.
How
now that you're happy?
Gone.
Come on out, everybody. He left.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'm not a theme park guy. I've never been a theme park guy, and I remain not a theme park guy.
Yeah.
No.
Is it the lines? Is it the waiting around?
It's
what is it?
It's all of that and more.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of crowds, a lot of lines. Although
crowds,
boy oh boy, let me tell you, going to Disneyland with a couple of guys who have been to Disneyland several times, and know how to manipulate the system.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
I'll tell you, because I took the kids to Disney World, which is the only, I've been to Disneyland Paris, but that was like a one night, few hour thing. But like taking a decent number of trips to Disney World. So yeah, the key to going to those parks is planning.
Oh yeah.
Sounds stupid.
Yeah.
But your life is so much better if you know what you're getting into and just
stick
go
to
in
the
prepared.
Schedule.
Well, not even, you know what? That's part of it. Although that's kind of forced on you at Disney parks nowadays. But it's even just sort of just knowing what you're getting into, because if you go in with the wrong expectations, it will suck.
Yeah. But we got there on Saturday morning. Our plane landed, and we were at the park by about 11. And I actually got most of the big stuff I wanted to do done that day.
Nice.
Very nice.
So what was the big stuff? Spill. What was the? I mean, we know the blue milk, but what else?
Well, yeah, went to Batu, the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Park, hung out there, did the Millennium Falcon ride, did the
What position were you in?
They made sure I got the good seat.
Did you get to go to hyperspace?
I was the pilot on the right hand side, so I got to punch it.
See, I didn't get to.
Oh,
I was so bummed.
I'm sorry.
I was with my kids, so it's not like I could say move.
Yeah,
Daddy wants to be the nav. Yeah, so
someone who appreciates this will.
Yeah,
yeah. Did Rise of the Resistance?
How'd you like that?
Oh, that was great. That was great. That was one of the 2 rides that I did twice.
Really?
Yes.
See, when we went 2 years ago, Rise of the Resistance was kind of like once. You can do it once because it's such a pain in the ass to get into.
Oh,
it's so highly sought after that you're just not going to get in again.
You want? Let me give you a Disney land park hack. If you pay them extra money, they'll let you skip the line.
Oh, we did that. That's how we got in the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We combination of magic bands and paying extra money.
So I don't know what it's like in Disneyland, although I assume it's pretty much exactly the same.
Right.
But I don't know how you enter the sort of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge area in Disneyland, but at Disney World, it's you walk through an archway.
Yes.
And then you just sort of come out into this. And I don't know about you being an old Star Wars nerd.
Yep.
But I literally got tingles coming out because it's just so. It was just exactly what I.
It does a very good job.
Yeah.
Of selling the illusion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Same as in the ride when you're in the hangar.
Oh yeah.
With the TIE fighters and so cool.
I did, as you mentioned, I got my blue milk in my screen accurate 1970s Tupperware cup, just like the one Mark Hamill drank out of.
Just like the one Mark Hamill drank out of and all of us drank out of as children of the 70s.
Exactly. Yeah. I listened to a little bit of last week's episode.
Oh my God, what?
No, you didn't.
And to answer the questions that you two geniuses.
So wait a minute, let's back this up.
Someone
told you we made a comment. So you went and listened to some of the episode.
Nope.
No.
I
think that's probably accurate.
Yeah. I went and listened because I was like, what are these idiots saying about me?
No, in no way would you ever listen to this podcast.
And yet here, I mean, find someone telling me. Go online, find someone telling me.
Let's see, either Justin or Bill.
Oh, Justin doesn't listen to this nonsense.
Okay, good.
No,
Bill, what's wrong?
I don't know. Would they listen when you're not on? It feels like they'd listen while you're not on.
No, I mean everyone knows I'm the reason to listen.
Oh, this just got real cringeworthy.
That's right. Yes, I did rinse out the cup afterwards. It turns out Disney's lawyers are not super keen on guests collapsing from heat exhaustion.
Oh,
in SoCal. So they put there's a lot of drinking fountains.
Yeah.
Water bottle refill stations.
That's good.
And of course, what do you think I'm carrying it around like this?
Yes.
You think I'm just carrying this in my grubby little mitts?
We didn't think you were.
Where'd you put it? Where'd you put it?
I'd prefer not to discuss that.
Let's just say it was rinsed thoroughly.
You know what? Ever prepared, I went to the Disney park. I had a crossbody bag. A very nice crossbody bag.
Fanny pack?
Fanny pack.
For my
a Manny pack.
For my wallet. For my cell phone telephone. for my extra battery for my cell phone telephone.
Very important to have. Yes.
And indeed, it is big enough to store a 1970s era Tupperware cup.
Nice.
Yeah, that's right. So
I bet you the people who check bags at the entrance have seen a lot of those in their time.
you know what? I went online. I was curious just because I figured tons of people have to have
done that, right?
I found like a picture
Actually, why
of
don't
one
they sell
person.
those in the park?
You know what?
Like a killing.
They sell something that is very similar, but presumably
Not screen accurate.
legally distinct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do sell some sort of like
someone somewhere
close, but not
owns
quite.
that design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is a trademarked design.
So what else did you do besides the Star Wars stuff?
Well, first, look at that.
Oh, I don't
See
know
what
what
that
are we
is?
looking at? No.
That's my
That's a hilt.
lightsaber.
Nice.
That's my lightsaber. I did the lightsaber. I did the build
it, right? Nice.
I did the build your own lightsaber. I don't have the blade attached at the moment, but I do have the blade. I did the build a droid. My droid's right down at my feet. I did the cars ride. Greg, you like racing cars, right?
That's not in Florida.
Oh, they don't have the
Nope.
Radiator Springs.
No, they don't.
Isn't that in California? Whatever.
It's
California
Disney
Adventure or whatever.
California Adventure Park. Yes.
Yeah.
I did that ride.
They don't have it out there, unfortunately.
Because it's cars.
I know. I would love it.
I'm not a 6-year-old, so I don't care about the movie Cars. But that area of the park where it's made up to look like
it looks awesome.
It looks amazing.
Radiator Springs.
It looks and the ride itself is a hoot. And that was the other ride I went on twice.
Nice.
So because it starts off, it's kind of like a little dark ride. You're just kind of riding around in a car, stopping to animatronics talk to you. Mater talks to you and all the other Cars characters, and they're very nicely done animatronics. And then after you kind of get a little drive through Radiator Springs, you pull up next to another car, another group of people, and then it takes off into a surprisingly fast race.
I see.
And it's a lot of fun.
There is a section in Hollywood Studios that has there's a theater where there's this little Cars show.
Oh, really?
They have an animatronic of Lightning McQueen, and those animatronics are nice.
They're really good.
It looks. I mean, I know you're not we weren't sitting right next to it or anything, but I mean, from a distance, it looks so close to watching it on film.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, they're using projection for the eyes and the mouth and everything. So it's so wonderfully animated. But I remember sitting there we just did it because it's like, what the hell? There was no wait. We could get in out of the heat.
Yeah.
And,
right.
We like cars. And I remember my son and I sitting there and was like, wow, that looks really good.
It does. They have a life-size, I'm assuming it's a remote control car that will a Lightning McQueen that will drive around the park.
They have one
in Radiator Springs very slowly.
Because they don't want to run over small children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did the Guardians of the Galaxy ride?
What song played while you were on that?
Born to Be Wild.
Nice.
Yes.
We were doing the conga on
nice.
on our ride. Yeah.
That was because you did it at Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And is this the Tower of Terror one?
No.
Okay, because they have because I believe Disney World has a different ride.
Yeah, ours you're just in a shuttle pretty much.
Okay.
It's like a roller coaster.
Okay, yeah, the Disneyland one is a reskin of the old Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Oh. So where in Florida they still have the Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
Huh.
Where they're raising you up and dropping you down a lot. But like that one, there's maybe like a dozen different songs that can play. And that was great as well. But yeah.
See.
Yeah. So did you go to Universal? I know this is dragging on, and I'm sure CJ wants to get the show actually started here. But did you go to Universal?
No,
Did you go to Mario Land or whatever? You didn't do that?
Just stayed in Disney
World?
the whole time.
Okay.
So
have
maybe
to
someday
have another vacation for Super Nintendo World.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah,
that's cool.
It was fun. And now I'm here
doing this.
Yeah.
Doing this.
My
so
first
still on vacation.
Disney park was Disneyland, actually.
Yeah.
I regret that I never went to Disneyland while we were living in California.
Yeah.
Because it's not
quite a bit.
Was that?
Yeah, I like Disneyland. It's a smaller park. Everything's much closer.
It's not in the cards.
Yeah.
I feel like I experienced that a little bit going to Disneyland Paris.
Oh yeah.
Because it's kind of the same thing. It's a much more compact park. Right. But I do like, I mean, Disney World is sort of it's a whole other thing. Like it's just the scale of it is something else.
Yeah,
so,
for sure. For sure. Well, alrighty.
Right.
Should we talk about video games now?
I don't know. Let's talk about Disney more. Yeah. When was the last time you played Castle of Illusion?
Oh, that's a good game, huh?
It is.
Really is.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Okay. Well, hey, today, as we record this, it's March 10th. That means it's Mario Day.
Woohoo!
And we got some announcements today. Miyamoto came out and saw a shadow and said that the Mario movie sequel is coming out in 2026, April.
Wait, Shadow the Hedgehog is in the Mario sequel?
That's correct.
Is that what I heard?
No.
Building up the Smash universe.
A new movie in the Super Mario Brothers world is coming in 2026. So, yeah.
Cool. So what do you think?
I enjoyed the last one.
Get excited.
You think this is just going to be a Donkey Kong movie?
Well, they didn't specify, like the wording was very like tiptoeing around sequel to the Super Mario.
Yeah, they definitely made it.
Movie.
It's in the Mario universe.
Yeah. What does that mean? Is we're getting a Luigi's Mansion?
Hell yeah.
Because that would be cool.
It could also be.
We could buy a ticket for Dan Shu and take him with us.
Yeah.
Will he watch the first 10 minutes and declare it to be like a 3 out of 10?
Oh, he didn't like Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. I wonder if he would.
I am not going to cast aspersions and say that he didn't play it that long. That's not very nice.
No, I think he did play plenty of it, but he did not enjoy it as much as I did at the time.
Everyone just wanted Mario 64 too.
They did. Yeah.
Yep.
And to be fair, that's what most people were looking for.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, most people were looking for that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what people wanted, but
yeah.
Everyone was disappointed because it wasn't that. Doesn't mean it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Because it was.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a new Super Mario Brothers movie, still from Illumination Studios and Nintendo. Coming out on April 3rd, 2026. We also got the announcement of 3 more Mario Game Boy titles coming to Switch. This week we got Dr. Mario, Mario Golf, and Mario Tennis arriving on Tuesday.
Don't sleep on Mario Golf. That is a good game.
Well, that's the one that everybody now wants to see as the RPG element in any Nintendo sports game, right?
Absolutely.
Nobody has ever delivered on that, and that's what people want. So now we get it on the NSO. You can try that out.
I had when I was working at, I think it was while I was still working at Expert Gamer, but it was for Pocket Games. I did a strategy guide for that game.
Oh, nice.
Golf. Oh, yeah?
And I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, it's a great game.
It's so good. And it's just so much fun, so cute, so easy to play.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like I played the N64 Mario Golf and it was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. But man, that like the Game Boy Color game, because you're basically getting the type of control you saw in like NES Open, which was a really good game. But with all the little cute RPG trappings, and you could transfer your character to Mario Golf 64 as well using the transfer pack, I think it was. So that won't happen in NSO, but still. Anyway, like seriously, if you even if you're even remotely interested in golf games, even if you're not that interested in golf games, because I'm really not. But man, Mario Golf was so good.
And the tennis is...
I've heard it's pretty much the same, right?
I loved the tennis just as much. Yeah. It's great.
So I'm so happy to see those two coming to NSO.
Yeah.
That's great. Those are two games that deserve to be there.
I played so much Game Boy Dr. Mario. You have no idea. That came out on the original Game Boy when I was doing a lot of like swim meets and whatnot, and I would just sit there with my Game Boy and play Dr. Mario all the time.
Someone shaved your back?
Also, yeah. I don't think I ever shaved my back, actually. No,
didn't need to. Naturally,
people don't realize this when you look at CJ, because you assume the otherwise, but he's silky smooth all over.
Absolutely.
Not anymore. Not anymore, friends. Nope.
Real quick,
yeah, Dr. Mario. I actually had purchased a second copy of that because back in the day, like with the link cable, the Game Boy, you had to have a copy of the game to play it, and people that I knew had Game Boys, but they didn't have Dr. Mario. So hey, you don't have Dr. Mario.
You had a second game just to lend out?
Yes.
Wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
And then you found out that nobody liked Dr. Mario.
I like Dr. Mario.
I like Dr. Mario a lot.
Absolutely.
So, it was okay.
So it's good. It's a good game.
I was never into the color matching. I just suck at the color matching games. So
I got to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
The Academy Awards are happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Minutes ago.
Miyazaki win.
Even better.
Yeah.
I mean, he did win. He won a while ago.
Good.
Godzilla won.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Godzilla minus one. Nah.
A Godzilla movie won Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards.
Well deserved.
That's cool.
The monster looked amazing in that film.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm very excited.
Well, we are all winners because we have release dates for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door and Luigi's Mansion 2 on Switch. Those are coming out. Thousand Year Door on May 23rd.
Yeah.
And Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on June 27th. So,
excellent.
There you go.
Excited for Thousand Year Door.
I will get both of those.
These two. Nintendo does the voucher program on the eShop. And at the moment, anyway, those two games do not have voucher compatibility. So
I bet they will.
I bet they will too. This is they updated those store pages on a Sunday. I'll probably add those to the voucher program soon, and then I will end up buying both of those. I cannot wait to play Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door and also Luigi's Mansion 2, which, man, one of my most anticipated games ever was Luigi's Mansion 2 back when that came out on the 3DS.
We should buy a copy and send it to Dan Shu.
I really wonder if he would reevaluate that game.
I don't know. I just love bringing it up every time.
Yeah, he didn't like it. Anyway, did you guys watch the new teaser for the Fallout television series?
Yes,
I did.
How awesome!
Walton Goggins presents Fallout, starring Walton Goggins.
I mean, yeah, Walton Goggins can be in anything.
I was going to say, I'm not saying that as a bad thing.
No, I'll watch.
No.
Anything with Walton Goggins in it. Yeah, pretty much. Comes out April 11th. All the episodes will be out on the same day, so you can go ahead and binge it if you like.
You're allowed to do that. CJ gives you permission.
I give you permission. I won't be binging it, but I will probably be watching it in fairly quick succession. But I think it looks great. I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I'm excited to watch it.
Me as well. All right, so we got an Xbox partner preview this week. I don't know if there's anything in here that you guys are really like super hyped on. A lot of
Monster Jam.
Are you really?
No.
Are you playing Monster Jam?
But I just felt like that fit my brand, so
it did. It does fit your brand. Yes. Although they showed off Roblox.
Chucky,
Child's Play, like a Chucky thing in Roblox. Yeah. How does that fit? That's
Will it make money? That's how it fits.
Well, it probably will make money. Yeah.
There you go.
Kids love Chucky.
I think we figured it out.
I think we did. Yeah. Some interesting games in here. Like the Altars looks good. Some of these games that just got announced look all right, but they were like pre-rendered trailers for like the Unknown 9, Sleight of Hand. Creatures of Ava looks interesting. But I really kind of liked Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. This is a Capcom game. And it sort of looks like it's going to be tower defense-y in a way. There seem to be two phases of gameplay. One is you as this sort of guardian of this goddess, like setting up within this town, like the path that the goddess will walk. And once she starts walking, all these monsters, there's like a night phase, and all these monsters come out and start attacking. And if you have set everything up correctly and like armed the townsfolk correctly, then she'll get through everything and you go to the next stage. But I thought it looked really interesting, and I think it's interesting that Capcom, who has one of the biggest video game series currently out there, I mean, they have a lot of, I guess, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil's still huge, and Dragon's Dogma 2, I think, is going to be really big as well. You have them making these sort of smaller games like Kunitsugami and Exoprimal, which are like games that maybe have not huge expectations to be like multi-million selling games, but are just interesting ideas. So I love to see that kind of thing. And yeah, I thought the trailer was good.
Anyway. I didn't watch any of these.
I didn't either. I'm sorry.
I'm a terrible person.
Any of these. All right. Well, sorry. Did you see that EA has put a bunch of their games, a bunch of their classic games, because now EA values original IP, so you gotta do that, right?
Oh my god!
Now changed from 2 weeks ago to now. They released a bunch of games that had never been on Steam before, including Command and Conquer, Dungeon Keeper, SimCity 3000. Those were already on good old games. But then the Saboteur has also appeared on Steam.
The Saboteur is awesome.
Saboteur is a good game. Yes.
The bigger thing here for me was I was shocked that these weren't on Steam already. Like that was not that I've ever gone looking for them, but I just kind of assumed that they were there. You know, like
no.
So that was the story for me, was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're on pretty nice discount as well. Saboteur only $5. I picked that up.
You should. I know you won't, but you should play it.
I played it on Xbox 360.
But did you play through it?
I didn't finish it, but I did play it.
Yeah, that was I think that was the last game from Pandemic before they shut down, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it was their final game from Pandemic Studios.
Yeah.
And what a way to go out. Yeah, it's like I always loved the aesthetic of that game is fantastic. It's, for people who don't know, it takes place in Paris in World War II during the Nazi occupation, and it's all presented in black and white.
Yep.
Except for any areas or basically anything to do with the Nazis is in red, and any areas that the Nazis control is bathed in red light, and it's a fantastic visual aesthetic. Like it's really effective. And it is good. It's really good, but it definitely plays like a 20-year-old open world game. Because I played through it on Twitch a couple years ago, and you kind of have to accept that, you know, it feels as old as it is. It still looks great, and it still has some great content, but it gets a little janky, especially at the end. Like you can almost feel like it gets a little less polished the further you go into the game. But I've always loved the idea of that. That was back when we were still getting a lot of games based on World War II. I've always loved that the main character is actually loosely based on a real person. He's a Grand Prix driver. who was a spy for the British during the occupation of France, and he ended up being captured and executed by the Nazis. That doesn't happen in this game, so no spoilers for the end of the game, I guess. And he was the first winner of the Monaco Grand Prix. William Grover Williams.
Huh.
Yeah. So it's again, it's not really loosely based on his life, but the main character is loosely based on him, which I just thought was really neat.
I just bought SimCity 3000.
Great game
for $2.
That's a steal. Yeah,
wish SimCity 2000 was on here.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of 2000.
That's the one I played more of.
I was gonna say, not because I say it's a better game, because I really couldn't say if it's a better game.
Right.
But that's same as you. Like that's the one I played a lot.
That's the one I played.
Yeah.
I played more of the OG SimCity back in the computer lab at school.
Nice.
On the Mac?
No, on the PC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Did not play that one on the Mac.
My time with the original SimCity was all on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
I never played the Super Nintendo game.
Really?
And then my time with SimCity 2000 was all on the Saturn.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
My roommate and I had copies of SimCity 2000, played a lot of it.
Wow.
I see. Well,
the SNES SimCity is outstanding.
Yeah, it really is.
I have heard that. Yeah. Do you think Nintendo would ever remake that?
What's that?
With Maxis's blessing or anything like that? Do a remake of SimCity?
It's I think it may have appeared at one point on like the Wii Virtual Console.
Yeah.
And I think they had to take it down at one point because of licensing.
Yeah.
So
that's one of those things that I think would be constantly sort of fluid.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you're right. SimCity vanishes from Virtual Console.
Oh.
Well, speaking of taking things down, let's briefly touch on this story that hit last week that the Adult Swim games on Steam and other digital stores are being retired from sale. So yeah, this kind of sucks. I mean, I obviously worked at Adult Swim from 2007 to 2019 and worked with a lot of these developers on these games, and it sucks that they are being pulled, but hopefully they will find it sounds like they're being allowed to republish those games on Steam once they remove any Adult Swim branding. It is kind of a shame that they aren't just being transferred directly to the developers, because Steam and I believe PlayStation and Nintendo both have systems to transfer a game to another publisher. But yeah, it's sad to see this sort of thing go. You know, Adult Swim games sort of quietly disappeared a couple of years ago. After I had left, they published a couple more games, including the Samurai Jack game, which I think is really, really good. If you've not tried it, Soleil is the developer, a lot of former Team Ninja folks on that. So I think that Samurai Jack game is great. And, you know, a lot of the indie games that we published were also just amazing, amazing games and amazing developers that I'm, you know, so blessed to have worked with. And to see the games just getting pulled like this, it's not great, but hopefully people will revisit these whenever they reappear in other places. That would be good. And some of these games have actually already, like in the intervening years since Adult Swim games closed, and now some of those developers have gotten their games back from Warner Brothers and have published them on their own or gone with other publishers. Like Death's Gambit is one of those. Rain World is another one of those that is currently published by Akupara Games. So yeah, a couple of them did, and Battle Chef Brigade got it back to the original developers. So a couple of them went back already, but now I guess is they're doing some cleanup, taking away all the Adult Swim games. So end of an era. I'm sad to see it. Sad to see these games go, but yeah,
I should.
No, hopefully they find life after this.
I hope so too. Yeah.
I should probably pick up that Samurai Jack game, huh?
Yeah, I think that's going to be gone for good.
Yeah.
There's no other developer that's going to be able to publish that. I wonder if Rick and Morty virtual reality is going to go away.
Oh
as
yeah.
well. But who knows on that one. Anyway, we should mention this. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and contributor to many games like Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest, passed away in early March at age 68 after suffering from an acute subdural hematoma. Very sad news. You know, some of the first anime that I was exposed to was Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of people could say that.
A lot of people could say that. Like the first game that I imported was a Dragon Ball fighting game.
Nice.
For the Super Famicom. And yeah, like that aesthetic, that art style, his art style, and manga creations. You know, Dragon Ball is great. Sandland is great. I hope that game that is coming out based on Sandland is good. That would be a really nice tribute if that is good.
Yeah.
And I hope it is. Very sad to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that bummed me out more than I
big bummer.
Kind of figured it would, because I mean, Dragon Ball obviously a huge classic. You know, I'm a sucker for Dr. Slump.
Yeah, that's the one I kept hearing. That made me think of you, just because you brought it up so many times over the years.
Oh yeah. Wonderful, stupid humor manga.
Yeah.
So.
And 68 is young, man.
I know. Yep.
It's feeling younger every minute.
It is. It is. All right. Should we talk about what we've been playing?
Sure.
Greg, why don't you go first?
Let me tell you. I played a few things this week. I finished a couple things this week. First of all, I've been playing through on Monday nights on Twitch TV /Seward. I've been planning to, and have just finished playing the first Lunar game, and we're trying to play all the Lunar games. Except I don't know if I'm going to play Dragon Song, because Dragon Song really sucks, but I might, just to be complete. But yeah, so I finished the first Lunar, Silver Star, on the Sega CD. Was a lot of fun to play through that again. One of my favorite games of all time, for sure.
Greg, do you have one of these? I'm going to show the camera. It's very it's a Lunar the Silver Star story pin.
I do not. I do not. I don't know. I assume that was from E3 one year.
It was from E3. Yeah.
I would absolutely take that if you're offering it.
I am offering it.
Okay. Yes, please.
It's yours.
So yeah, but it was really awesome to play through it again. It's a pretty short game overall, which is nice as far as RPGs go. Pretty straightforward, simple, which I like. Although I always loved the battle system in that game, because there's a tiny bit of strategy involved where for physical attacks, your characters actually have to be able to reach the characters they're attacking, which, up until that point, I was mostly used to Final Fantasy and also Dragon Warrior, where you choose to attack something and then you just attack it, and it's proximity is not really important. And so that was something that I always really loved about the first Lunar anyway. And they really sort of went for broke on that with Grandia, which was also a Game Arts game. Wasn't really related to Lunar, but they really ran with that in the battle system for Grandia as well. But that, and of course the music is fantastic. The story is great. I love the characters in that game. It was just so much fun to play through it again. I will say that back in the day, even getting that game at all was very cool. And that was probably I think that was the first Working Designs game I ever played. I think it was the first one they did outside of the TurboGrafx over here.
I believe that's right.
And
although it was
funny.
Vi first?
No, Vi was not first.
No? Okay.
I know that for sure because I bought Vi based on how much I loved Lunar.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Boy, that was a mistake. But but yeah, it's funny because the working designs aspects of that game are the thing that hasn't aged well. The translation, first of all, the translation quality really high for the time, really not good based on where we are now. And I'm not even talking about the pop culture references and jokes, although those haven't aged well either. But just like grammatical issues.
Oh, really?
Are all over the place, which I don't remember noticing. But again, I was a teenager at the time, and honestly, I probably didn't give a damn. But yeah, so that hasn't aged very well. And of course, the pop culture references haven't aged well. Although I will say, and I don't know this because I don't read Japanese, I can't speak Japanese. But I mean, there's a lot of humor in that game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that the jokes that they inserted, they might have been not great jokes because they needed so much context of the time. But I'm not sure that some form of that didn't exist in the original Japanese script, but I don't know that for sure.
Right.
And I'm sure someone will tell me I'm wrong because it's the internet and people thrive on telling you you're wrong. But yeah, it definitely, it hasn't aged well in some aspects, but mostly that. Like gameplay wise, it's actually aged really well. The only thing that I would say was frustrating, but this was how RPGs were back then, is it had a lot of the like go into a store and here's all these new weapons and armor for sale. Are they better than what you've got? Who knows? Buy it and find out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Which I think the second game alleviated. But anyway, it was great to finally finish it. I'm looking forward to. I wanted to play the unworked designs. I don't know if you guys know what the unworked designs things are. So
they're like hacks, right?
Yeah, they're a series of ROM hacks basically where they go in and they undo the changes that working designs made. Not necessarily translations, but the other thing that working designs was infamous for was making their games harder and really throwing off the balance to the point like you'll get a lot of people nowadays talking about how Silhouette Mirage is always the game that people hold up as like working designs just really messed up the balance in that game terribly. So these
Lunar 2
and Lunar 2 with the save system.
Yeah.
So the unworked designs patch that stuff out. Unfortunately, I'm playing these on a Mega SD, Terra Onion Mega SD in the Mega SG console, and the Lunar 2 unworked designs patch does not work on that setup. So I'm going to be starting Lunar 2 tomorrow night, as of this recording, Monday night, and I'm going to be playing through the original working designs version. So
all right,
probably going to be a little bit of a slog. But I've never actually played through the Sega CD version of Eternal Blue, so mainly for those reasons.
Jokes,
yeah, mainly for that reason. So,
oh man,
but I am looking forward to doing that. So
because I did play the Sega CD one back in the day, and the change that we're talking about.
Finished it.
Oh really?
Yeah.
For some reason, working designs made it so you cannot save your game without spending your magic points.
Yes.
Which
they're not the points you use to cast spells. I think they're points you use to upgrade your magic spell. I believe
so, yeah.
I think. But yes, you had
something
to
like that. And it was real stupid.
Oh, it was dumb.
Real stupid.
Yeah.
Punishing you for saving your game in an RPG.
Now, I think that was born out of the first Lunar. You could save almost anywhere.
Right.
You couldn't save. There were certain rooms, like basically story rooms, like places where major story events happen. You couldn't save in those rooms usually. But otherwise, you could save anywhere. So you could save spam your way through that game, which which is apparently called save scumming now, which I hate. That's a stupid term, but you could spam you could just save like crazy. You only had 4 slots, but you could save anywhere you wanted. So if like you were coming up to a big battle, you could just save, and if it didn't go well, you could. And I think that's what they were trying to kill. But that is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, where, you know, Working Designs didn't make these games. They localized these games. And when you start doing stuff like that, I think you're really messing with the original creator's vision at that point.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. They built it that way for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's unfortunate, and it hasn't aged well, but that's not to take away from what Working Designs was doing in the 90s, which was bringing over a bunch of games that we would not have gotten otherwise. Who knows if we'd have played Lunar at all?
Yeah,
Probably if they hadn't brought it over here, right? And who knows how popular it would or wouldn't have been. So, yeah, either way. So starting Eternal Blue tomorrow night.
Nice.
I also finished Alan Wake 2 finally this week.
Congrats.
Yeah. Great game. Oh my God. So I'm still so happy with that game. And I loved where the ending went. And I don't want to give anything away, obviously, but I just found myself during the whole ending sequence, just like, oh my God. Oh my, like the realizations that Saga, one of the main characters, was having, like the whole, a big chunk of the ending takes place in her mind palace. Which was the thing that I remember when I first started playing the game. Was like, I don't understand why this is here, and obviously now at the end of the game I realize why it's here. But a big chunk of the ending sequence takes place in there, and there's just a whole lot of realizations happening. And I don't know if it's just me, but like, it's all about her doubting herself and calling out specific instances throughout the story where like she should have known better. And at least I found myself going right along with her. It was like, oh my God, you're right. How did we miss that? Like, why are we so stupid? But it's really, really well written. I think it's a great climax, a great ending. It leaves the door open, obviously, for a sequel. They were always going to do that.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I put it on my top 5 list for 2023, even though I hadn't finished it yet, which I never do. I almost always only include games that I've finished. I usually only consider games that I've finished for the top 5 lists, but for Alan Wake 2, I was enjoying it so much that I put it on there anyway, even though I hadn't finished it. And I'm glad I did, because it holds true. I still... Yeah, I was just engaged with that game from beginning to end, and really loved it. So glad I finally finished it. I'm going to move on to Final Fantasy now. But yeah. One other thing that I forgot to put on the outline, but I wanted to bring up because I know Phil got these too, is the Analog Pocket adapters. And
oh yeah,
my box is missing one because it's connected to the Analog Pocket in my room. Came out. So these let you play Link's Neo Geo Pocket and TurboGrafx cue card games on your Analog Pocket.
That's cool.
And boy, are these awesome.
They are great.
So happy with them. The Links and the Neo Geo Pocket stuff play great. It's so nice to be playing Neo Geo Pocket games on something that feels authentic but is also backlit. Yeah, that's a big plus.
Oh yeah.
The Links, it's nice to play those games on a screen that has a much better update time, because those games were pretty blurry, I found, in the original Links. That screen was a pretty blurry mess. Also had to test out Clax, obviously, because Clax was a game that you played in Tate mode on the original hardware. And so they've just gone with tall pillar boxed look.
Oh, is that what they did?
Pocket. Yeah. So, and you don't have to mess with any settings. It just is.
Oh, good.
That way, which is nice. Yeah. So overall, really, really happy with that. I will say one thing. I get why they did this, but the adapters, you're not gonna be able to see this because it's clear. They don't tell you which adapter is which. I was gonna numbered.
Oh,
Greg,
Yeah.
if you look real closely in the lower left corner, you will see
It does say links. You're
it's
right.
very tiny.
Oh my
And it's
God.
little raised letters, or
That's
I don't know if they're
dumb.
raised or carved in on clear plastic.
You can't see it at all. But
You can't. No.
They are there. You're right.
And
Do my old man look here.
It's so stupid.
That's dumb.
Just a horrible case of form over function. Yes, it looks
Absolutely.
cool,
Yeah.
but I'm sitting here with those, and I'm sitting there. I got the Game Gear one, and if you just look at them, they all look alike.
Yeah, which I mean, it's funny because they're very different cartridges that they fit, but yeah, they look identical.
Yeah.
Which one's
from the
which?
front
Quick,
on.
tell me.
Yeah,
You can't.
from the front on, right? Like
No.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of the things that I do want to find out, and I'm maybe some of our listeners have done this. So using the Open FPGA, obviously you can download a bunch of different console cores to play ROMs and stuff like that. But one of the things that I found is the core right now for PC Engine CD. There are a lot of audio issues, which is too bad. PC Engine, like Q cards or chips, whatever you want to call them, they run great, but the CD stuff doesn't. And I'm curious because I know in EverDrive, because I checked the adapter with my Turbo EverDrive, and it works fine. And of course, the Turbo EverDrive Pro will let you emulate. It's like an ODE, like it'll let you emulate CD games as well. So I'm curious if anyone who has one of those has tried it using these adapters to see if the audio is okay there. Because if that's the case, I might actually pick one up. Because I'd love to have a nice way to play PC Engine CD stuff. I don't have enough physical games to justify buying like the Analog Duo. So, but you know, the Pocket with the dock, this is a nice little TurboGrafx emulator. So I'd like to play them this way. So I'm, if we have any listeners who have tried that stuff out, please reach out and let me know. Because if that's the case, I want to get an EverDrive Pro. But yeah, so I knew you'd gotten those as well, Phil. So I just wanted to bring those up.
And yeah, it's
finally out.
It's great.
The Pocket is like one of my favorite things right now.
Right.
Because it's so versatile and it's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I got to go back and see if there are other Lynx games that I need. I have, I have maybe a dozen, 15 or so Lynx games.
Can I ask? Because I saw you posted some pictures of some of your Lynx games.
Yes.
And I noticed in the top left corner of most of them, there looked like permanent marker on them.
I think some of those must have been old
Ziff Davis
EGM ones.
I think the ones you're missing are probably the ones I have. Because my entire Lynx collection is from the game closet when we moved.
Did we split those amongst ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we must have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm assuming
because I noticed on my cartridges as well, they have the permanent marker in the top left corner.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be.
Yeah.
That's
so
hilarious.
when we've talked about this on the show before, but when Ziff Davis moved from Chicago to San Francisco, the Chicago office had a little room. It wasn't that big.
No.
Where it was just whatever was from years and years of ROMs and things like that they were just piled in that room, and they decided they weren't going to move that stuff out to along with the magazine archive. They decided they weren't going to move any of that stuff out to San Francisco, and they just basically opened the door and said, "Take what you want."
Yep.
And Phil and I know for sure were two of the people who took as much as our arms could hold.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Yep. That's my entire Lynx collection.
What I did find amusing though is Ziff didn't want to pay to move all the stuff in the game closet.
But they did.
But yeah, they just gave it to us and then they paid for our moves.
Yeah.
So you still paid for it. You just don't get to keep it now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Anyway, that's all I've been playing.
Alrighty, well, Phil,
Yes.
Tell us all about the things that you have been playing.
Oh, golly. Well, in addition to messing around with the new pocket adapters, which are indeed outstanding, I've been continuing my journey through Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Nice.
I think it says I'm like 60% done with the story. And I'm probably like 50 or so hours into it.
Oh my God.
I know.
There's a lot
I'm
going on in that game.
It's such a good game. Every minute I'm just grinning like an idiot with just how wonderfully stupid and bizarre that game is. I'm getting a little worried though, because I have heard tell of a sudden kind of difficulty spike.
Oh no.
That shows up in that game.
Hmm.
And I believe I was looking it up. I just Googled, when does the Like a Dragon difficulty spike hit? And I think they said like chapter 11 or 12, and I'm on chapter 10 at the moment.
Oh.
So it's coming up. So I'm worried that I'm going to have to start doing some grinding to get my team a little higher level, because I have had a few boss fights recently that proved to be rather challenging. And certainly they've not been shy of kind of throwing you into a gauntlet where you end up fighting like a wrecking ball construction vehicle. You have a big battle with that, and then you have to fight some high level Yakuza boss or something, like without really the opportunity to run around and restock yourself and things like that. So I'm a little nervous about that, but we'll see. But still having an absolute blast with it. I picked up, and I saw you have this on your list as well, CJ.
Yeah.
Nintendo. For the Nintendo Switch, we have the Picross S Plus has come out. And this, of course, is the re-release of all the old 3DS Picross E titles. And they're available as DLC, $5 per title. And of course, the real treat is that Picross E9 is the one that was never released outside Japan.
Yep.
Until now. So, and I see you specifically call out E9.
That's right.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one that I've played in S Plus. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'm 4 or 5 pages in.
Oh, wow.
To it. Yeah.
So is that the only DLC you bought for it?
Yes. So it comes with Picross E.
Yes.
And then you buy the DLC packs for $5 each. And I only bought E9 currently.
Okay.
Not that I won't buy the others. I probably will. But for now, I only have E9.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I did buy the whole pack.
I hear that Logiart Grimoire is out of early access or about to emerge from early access. So very excited about that too. Speaking of Picross.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
That's on Steam, and apparently that's coming to Switch as well.
It is indeed.
So very excited about more Picross games on Switch.
Let's see. March 15th is the release date of the final version.
This week.
Yep.
It's exciting.
And then if I'm reading the Switch news for this one, and yeah, this is for those who do not know. Logiart Grimoire is a new Jupiter developed Picross title. Yeah, and it's Coming on, the final version on Steam this week. And then, furthermore, they explain, development for the Nintendo Switch version is underway. It is scheduled for release in April 2024. The content of this game is the same as the Steam version.
Exciting. Very exciting with them. Yeah.
They actually had a Kickstarter for this game to earn some extra money to add more puzzles and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did back it. I did throw them some extra money. So I think my name's going to be in it.
Nice.
It's going to be very exciting. I can't review it. I can't
but you can
ethically review this for my professional outlets because
I
have financially contributed to its development, but
that didn't stop anyway.
Good stuff. But Picross S Plus is great. Picross in general is a great fun puzzle experience. It's just very chill. I enjoy it. Yeah, I love the little quality of life things on this versus other similar logic art games where I use the thing where you hold down R1 or L1 and count out spaces. Things like that. I use that a lot. So yeah, it's great.
Another Picross game came out for the Switch recently.
It's a Story of Seasons one.
It's the spin-off of the farming sim Story of Seasons, Pixel Cross, which I picked up as well. Played a little bit of it, and it's very cute. It's got the all the Story of Seasons characters and things like that. So it's got a very cute aesthetic. But boy, the Jupiter controls. No one has been able to replicate those.
You don't appreciate them until you play something that doesn't have them.
It's
because they're so intuitive.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy how Jupiter has been making immaculate Picross games for years, and nobody has just said, let's blatantly copy that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it works. And every other company's doesn't work quite as well.
Yeah.
So the other final thing that I have been playing this week is Euphoria the Saga 2.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear about this.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No, not until you wrote it in the outline.
So you're familiar with Euphoria?
Mm-hmm.
Classic Super Famicom, well, not Super Famicom, regular Famicom game. I think it came out in Europe as well, right?
I think it did.
Yeah, we did not get it here in North America, but I believe it did come out in Europe. This was a Sunsoft game, and it's I think you can get it on like virtual consoles or like the Nintendo Switch online service, maybe.
I know I played it somehow.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely been.
Got it on virtual console, I think. Not.
Yeah, it has
not NSO.
Okay, but yeah, it has since gotten released over here in some form or another. And it's a little kind of an adventure game with a gimmick where there are 4 different playable characters you can swap between, and they have different abilities. And this is a sequel. This is a modern day sequel, and it is really cute. It is very simplistic, so your enjoyment will vary depending on how, if you're looking for like a challenging game, or if you just want something chill, a little fun exploratory kind of adventure. It's laid out in a sort of Metroidy explore 'em up kind of thing, but instead of just having a big world that you explore, you have kind of a hub base. You have the main character's little home is sort of the central hub, and all the worlds kind of branch out from that way. And you'll go off in one direction, and it's like, oh, I can't get past here because there's a big lake, and I need to get to the character that can swim. So you have to go off and find that character, and it's got a bit of a collectathon vibe because you're gathering coins, you're gathering little cans, and the more cans you get, there's a vending machine in your home, and kind of the point of the game is to unlock new power-ups from that vending machine. So as you collect cans, it causes more items to be available in the vending machine, and then of course you need the coins to purchase them. So it's you're venturing out, collecting things, fighting bosses, returning home with your spoils, which you then spend to purchase these upgrades, which allow you to expand further out into the world. And it's not terribly challenging. Like I said, it's very laid back, just kind of a chill little game. But it's cute and it's fun. So I've played a couple hours of it so far, and it's one of those games where it's like, if I was reviewing it, I'd probably end up giving it like a 6 or a 7, but I actually enjoy it more like an 8 or a 9 kind of thing. One of those deals. Or realistically, it's like a 6.5.
For everybody else, it's a 6.5. For you, it's like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. One of those, if you like games like this, you'll like this game. Kind of.
Fans of these games rejoice.
Absolutely. But it's very cute, and it's real pretty too. It's got this very nice kind of handcrafted look. The world and the characters all have this sort of like they're made out of felt vibe to them.
Cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
You can you'll see like little stray strands of fabric sticking out of them, like they've been kind of stitched together. All the like dialogue boxes, or when you defeat a boss and there's little explosions that go across the screen, those all look like they're made out of like those perler beads.
Nice.
Those little plastic fuse beads.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's got a very like craft store look to it that is very charming. So, which does a lot for me. Just having that kind of cute aesthetic is a lot of fun. So, cool. Yeah, it's a cute little game. I dig it. I can see people kind of getting bored with it because, like I said, it is relatively simplistic. And you do end up having to kind of repeat a lot of areas because you're constantly traveling out as far as you can, coming back to the hub world, and then traveling back out past the area you were just at to expand your reach further. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. CJ?
I see. Well, I took a trip to Chicago earlier this week, and so I was playing a bunch on Switch, which is why I played a bunch of Picross S Plus. And
good.
Then I also played a bunch of Pocket Card Jockey Ride On, which is a fantastic game. And the tutorial on that game throws a lot at you. There is a lot of little like systems in that game, even though it's solitaire and it's horse racing. There are a lot of little things that you have to know. Like, this is your energy, and you need to have that to move around the track, and you want to like convert that into partner points or whatever they are, like after each round. And you want to position yourself in this place for the best outcome of the solitaire, and to get in place for the final stretch, you need to be at this part of the track. And I'm up to year 3. I just finished the 3rd year of my horse's life now, and I feel like I'm kind of getting in the groove of everything. And I played it obviously on 3DS and on iPhone, but I never really there were sections of the game that I still don't understand exactly what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get better at those areas of the game. And it isn't one of those things where it gradually introduces those elements. It just kind of throws you in the deep end and expects you to pick up everything. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. Pocket Card Jockey is a really, really fun game. I love solitaire just in general. And in some ways it's helping me get better at solitaire because it has this little daily challenge thing. And as part of that daily challenge, it has a tutorial steps, like how to clear an entire board of solitaire. Like some tips that I didn't really know before. One of the daily things is that it shows you is one of the rows of cards is all sequential. And of course, you look at it and you're like, well, I'm going to get rid of this entire row first. And you do that and it's like, hey, you know what? You just played that wrong, because the goal here is to try to uncover as many cards as you can to get matches and continue playing, instead of pulling things off the discard pile or the stack. So what you should have done is you should have selected this card instead. Even though it wouldn't immediately do away with that whole row, you should have opened up more possibilities to match. And it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. So I have altered my way of playing this game, solitaire, in order to get better at the horse racing part. But really, I'm just getting better at solitaire. Yeah. I played a whole bunch of Helldivers 2 as well when I got back from Chicago. And Helldivers
Never heard
2
of it.
continues to be a fantastic game. I don't know if you heard about it this past week. They introduced, and there's an overarching community meta game, right? There's a game master at Arrowhead Studios who is trying to guide the story, the narrative, the ongoing narrative of the game. And so one of the things that happened this week, and they had teased this before launch, that mechs were going to be something that is introduced in the game. So earlier this week, they put out a bulletin. It's the planet of Tien Quan is being attacked by the automatons. And Tien Quan is where all of the mechs are. It's the manufacturing planet for these mechs. Everybody drop what you're doing and we must liberate Tien Quan from the automatons. They've taken over. Everybody do this. So, and apparently they thought it was going to take a week for Tien Quan to get liberated. It took less than a day for Tien Quan to get liberated. And then as the reward for that, everybody gets to use mechs. It's added to every single planet in the game. You can call down a mech just once and use it. Once it's out of ammunition, it's spent, it's done. That's the end of that. But you can call it down and use it. Normally, it is a stratagem that you can call in from the ships up above the planet, but you have to be level 25 for that, and it also costs a lot of requisition points to get. But they gave one out free to everybody for having done the liberation of Tien Quan. Which I thought was super fun way of doing it, right? It's we've set up this story. The mechs are being manufactured on the planet. You liberate that, everybody gets something. Like everybody gets a prize basically, and the community gets rewarded, and now you can use mechs
That's
for at
pretty
least
cool.
a short period. Yeah, super cool.
Do you think
And
they'll up the difficulty of whatever the next event's going to be so that it'll take a little longer to?
I think they probably will, yeah, just based on that. But also, like the servers, the server problems they had at launch kind of started to even out. But as soon as mechs were unlocked in the game, suddenly they had server problems again because everybody was logging in to try them out. But yeah, fantastic game. Continues to be a fantastic game. I am maining the autocannon as my support weapon. It takes out large bugs pretty quickly, and it's a great little weapon to have. I usually use either the breaker as my primary weapon, and then I'm using a pistol as my secondary weapon that breaks through armor. So it's just a super fun game and super fun to play with people. Played with Beer Monkey and Helvete Shunden from our Discord, and that was great fun. And Rad Dad Gamer was there as well today. Played with him as well, and just had a lot of fun. It's old school gaming fun. It's fantastic. It's a great shooter. I think Phil and Greg, you would probably enjoy it, but you don't play online multiplayer games, so that kind of kills.
Yeah,
that.
I do. Gran Turismo 7.
Well, I guess you do.
I'm covered.
You're covered. And then, of course, I pre-ordered Sea of Thieves for PlayStation 5. The pre-order's up.
Ah,
hot new game.
Hot new.
You want to be among the first to play it?
I am going to be. Yes, I bought, of course, the most expensive edition of it, which grants you 5 days early access to the game. That's been
Oh
out
my
for 6
goodness!
years.
Jesus,
I can imagine. Being able to play this game for the first time.
I know, 5 days early. I need it, right?
Experience it again for the first time.
Also participate in the there's a closed beta for the game as well that I get to participate in, and that'll be fun.
Good.
That'll be fun, yeah. Very excited about the game coming to PlayStation 5, and it apparently is doing very well in pre-orders. It was like the number one pre-order for a little while in the US and Europe.
Microsoft must be happy.
I would think so. And I mean, the fact that they have Sea of Thieves and they have 3 different editions coming in, different cosmetics, and they're doing an early access period, like that to me, okay, yes, it's an experiment, but they really thought about this. Like, this isn't we're just gonna push Sea of Thieves out on PlayStation and see how it does. It's like when you have 3 different editions, you have exclusive cosmetics, like that's you thought about this for a long time. You planned this pretty well. So I if they hold on to that number one pre-order spot, if it does well, obviously Microsoft is going to continue doing this stuff. But I'm happy they did it with Sea of Thieves. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I guess that means it's time for tweets.
A twiddle-a-diddle-a-dee, a twiddle-a-diddle-a-dee, tweet, a tweet, a tweet, tweet.
All right, let's do this one from Hacker alias Mr. Nelson, who says this question only works if Phil is back this week.
Oh, good news.
Yeah, which Graydon Clark movie would work best as an adventure video game? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm lost.
What?
Phil, do you know what that
is? What?
Do you know what that is?
He's talking about the guy who directed the movie Joysticks.
Oh,
because I just got
there we go.
The movie, the classic 1983 movie Joysticks.
I wouldn't have known the
Blu-ray
director
recently.
I wouldn't have known the director.
Not a good movie.
What are you talking about?
Oh no, of course it's not.
What are you talking about?
I remember watching that recently.
It's as good as Starship Troopers.
Oh, really? Are we gonna?
Just kidding. We'll talk about Starship
Troopers. Come on, we're saving that argument for the after show.
Oh my goodness,
yes, we sure are.
Phil, I want to call out that I am not going to dismiss Starship Troopers the way CJ just did.
Good.
I'm going to dismiss it in a different way.
Well, how do you know what my opinion of Starship Troopers upon
you just told
rewatching
us.
it is? No, I didn't. I was just joking.
I'm looking at
The filmography.
Graydon Clark's filmography, movies that he directed.
Yeah.
I have seen one of these movies.
Me
and
too.
That is Joysticks.
Isn't
because
Final
of
Justice
the obvious video game
MST
connection.
3K,
What's that?
Isn't Final Justice an MST3K movie?
Oh yeah, I guess I've seen. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I've seen Final Justice.
So that's a Joe Don Baker movie.
That is. Well, I mean, so is Joysticks.
Joe Don Baker.
I guess you're right. I forgot about that.
He's the villain.
I forgot about that.
He's the villain who's trying to shut down the arcade.
You're right.
And the teens have to fight back.
Joysticks is so good.
King Vidiot.
Is that out on 4K? Is that out on 4K Blu-ray yet?
I mean,
probably not. But we'll see. Anyway,
the
Joysticks is the answer to this.
Yeah. The Blu-ray that just came out.
I think this should be a sequel to Arcade Paradise, where someone's trying to shut down your arcade and turn it back into a laundromat.
Yeah.
And it's Joe Don Baker.
The Blu-ray that just came out is not a 4K.
Oh, okay. But they do have a Blu-ray?
I mean, I literally just said that.
Wow, okay.
But this is 2K scan and restoration from the 35 millimeter film elements and presented in 1080p HD.
Amazing.
So
I might have to get this. Okay.
No 4K, I'm afraid, but it does feature audio commentary from director Graydon Clark. So
the audio commentary is just him going, "Why did I make this movie? It's embarrassing."
And fan commentary. There's some fan commentary from.
Oh, really? Oh,
some fans of schlock films. So there you go. I guess the answer by default is Joysticks.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Right? It just has to be.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this one from a hacker alias Hoity76, who says, were we paying too much for games in the 90s at $60 plus that were made by 100 or less people in a year, but had cartridge costs? Or are we not paying enough for games made by thousands of people over a 4+ year period now?
Yes and no.
The answer is yes.
I mean, I think there's a scale there that you're not paying attention to, though, because the game industry, or not the game industry, but the game playing public was much smaller.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s. So I don't know that we were paying too much. I mean, I'm cheap. Everything's too much. But, you have to take into account sort of the volume you expect to sell too.
Right.
I do feel like games are getting too expensive, but also, yeah, we've been used to paying less than I think they're worth.
Yeah.
Based on the size of the development teams, yes, I think that makes sense. But also, games sell a lot more than they used to. So I mean, there's sort of it's all about like that bulk pricing, I guess. So, I mean, technically, yes, based on the factors that are mentioned in the question, but I think you have to take into account the size of the audience.
Yeah, I mean, gaming's always been an expensive hobby, right? No matter what era you're talking about.
Yeah,
true.
Luckily now we really purchase a license that can be revoked at any time, but
that's right.
For any reason. But, other than that, yes.
Yes.
Games cost too much to rent nowadays.
To rent?
Yeah, well, you're renting it.
Oh, well, yeah.
You don't own it.
I guess you're right. All right. That's it. That's the show.
That's it?
Yes. I'm calling it now.
Okay.
So we can get on to our after show.
Oh,
CJ wants to argue.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
going to be delightful.
Oh boy.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the social media platform of whatever choice you have made. But mostly I'm checking Threads and X. Or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find show notes there as well, but you'll also find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart and Generation 16 episodes as they occur.
I just learned an awful lot about Game Ground.
Did you? Game Ground sounds like an excellent video game.
What was your favorite thing you learned about Game Ground during Greg's new video, CJ?
Well, Phil, I'll tell you. I did not know that they made a Master System version of Game Ground, and
oh my goodness,
it was not a 3-player game in Japanese arcades.
Oh my gosh,
CJ watched.
Did you skim through some of it, CJ?
No, I watched the whole thing.
That's a lot to watch on Game Ground. That's like 40 minutes long.
Yeah, it's quite. Or that the stage on 4.8.
Oh my gosh,
had that bug.
Look at this!
Wow. And the M2 versions of the game let you turn that on or off.
Stage 5.8 in the home version.
5.8 because the present day is a
oh my gosh
set of levels.
CJ,
you guys are gonna make me cry.
Look at that.
There you go.
I will say, and thank you for watching that, by the way. I really do appreciate it. Was pretty proud of the way that episode turned out. I got to speak to the developer of that game, Yoshiki Oka, via email months and months ago, because of course this episode took a long time to happen. And I hadn't gotten around to sending him an email with the link to the video. So it was kind of a pleasant surprise. This morning I opened up my email and there was a message from him saying, like, I noticed that your channel updated and the new episode was up, and he said that it was, I forget the exact wording he used, but he really liked the episode.
Oh, awesome. That's
which
great.
Was really awesome. It was so nice of him to reach out, and it was so nice of him to give me sort of all the insight and his experience in creating that game. It went a long way, not only to give some context. He really helped me understand sort of the process behind the creation of the game just from talking to him, but also making sure to give the game, not that I wasn't going to give the game a chance, but to really, his desire for how it should be experienced.
Yeah.
And I kind of took that on board. And anyways, it was really great. That's what he said. I was able to spend a very fulfilling time watching the episode.
Oh, look at that.
Language. So anyway,
that's wonderful.
So thank you. I don't think he listens to the podcast, but either way, I mean, it's super nice of him, again, to give me his time almost a year ago, but also to watch it and to reach out and to say something so kind. I really, really appreciated that.
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, a great episode of Generation 16 that you should check out. Everybody should watch that episode. Don't just turn away because you see the running time is 38 minutes. I mean,
it's 38 fulfilling minutes.
It's 38 fulfilling minutes. Exactly. And on our website, you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about during this episode, and a link to our Discord server where you can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
If you would like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the YouTubes. If you oh gosh, I'm stumbling. I'm gone a week.
It's been a while.
And I already lost the script.
You did.
You can watch video archives of our show on the YouTubes. Or you can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, the Facebooks, You watch us on the Facebooks, on the Twitch, at televisions.
X.
Just follow one of our many social media accounts to find out when we're doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 this specific time. So join us, won't you? And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you? You can visit patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. Let me tell you, friendos, lightsabers ain't cheap. Okay? Building custom lightsabers is not cheap. And, they sell these extra little crystals for you to put in them to change the color of the blades.
Which you knew Phil would buy.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Which you knew Phil would buy a lot of.
And I mean, I didn't even get all of them.
Yeah.
And then they sell you the stand, and then you got to buy extra little nubbins to click onto the stand for the little crystals to go into. It's a whole racket.
Yeah.
So go to Patreon and send me your money. So I got to get the green one. I got to get the blue one yet. CJ's not going to let me use your money.
No.
For my lightsabers. Don't worry. I play. I have fun, but CJ doesn't allow me to use the money for that. No matter how much I beg. What we will do, of course, is use that money to help keep our show streaming and all that stuff that comes with running a podcast. And now, you know what? As a gift to you, as a special way to say thank you, we have a bonus episode, a weekly bonus episode that we record right after this, where we play games, crack-wise, having fun, doing all this stuff that we can't do during the regular show. I believe this week, are we going to be talking about Starship Troopers?
That's right.
Paul Verhoeven's classic 1997
Yeah.
film. A true example of cinema verite.
And a great companion if you've been enjoying Helldivers 2.
Absolutely. Well, that's what's prompting this, of course.
Which is why I purchased the movie.
You purchased it?
I purchased it on digital, yeah.
Good lad.
I was just going to go ahead and bite the bullet. It was cheap.
And just to kind of refresh everyone where we stood before, Phil, Starship Troopers is an amazing, brilliant movie. CJ and Greg, perhaps a bit less cultured.
It's definitely a movie.
Well, I really disliked it back in 1997.
I stopped giving anything away, CJ. Don't say anymore.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where the three of us land. We've all rewatched it.
Yep.
I've seen it multiple times over the years. CJ and Greg, I believe the last time they saw it was 1997.
Before this past week, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how this shakes out.
Yeah.
We'll see if we remain friends. Maybe there won't be an episode 903.
Maybe not.
We'll see what happens. So tune in for that. And I'll tell you what, if you have a few bucks left over, head over to patreon.com/Greg Seward to help support Greg's Outstanding. And it is outstanding. And again, go watch his new Gain Ground episode. Let me tell you this. I never got into Gain Ground. Gain Ground always seemed a little like...
Me neither.
I don't get this game.
Yeah. Same.
Having watched this episode, 40 minutes of pure Gain Ground history and evaluation and discussing its place in the greater world of Sega arcade games. I can't say that I'm going to go play it and like suddenly like the game now, but I definitely gained a new appreciation for it and what it was doing. So it's worth a watch.
Thanks, Phil.
Generation 16 is, of course, what I'm talking about. Go support Generation 16 on Patreon.
Thanks, Phil. And if you are a patron of the $5 variety.
Oh, I didn't say I
know
didn't
you
say how
didn't.
much our Patreon is.
That's okay.
$5.
Cheap.
And how much is yours, Greg?
$5.
That's also cheap. Hey, hold on.
Oh,
I think it's also cheap too.
thanks there. Thanks, Satan. Where you been,
You
Satan?
got it.
Where you been?
Oh, I was at Disney.
Oh, okay.
I went to Disneyland last weekend.
Did you get all the crystals?
Of course I did. But here's the thing. I stole them.
It's very on brand.
5-finger discount.
Gosh.
Yeah. When the sales clerk's back was turned, I nicked them right off the shelf. They didn't suspect a thing.
I mean, I wouldn't expect nothing else.
Well, I'm evil. That's my whole shtick.
But I know that you're taking that money you saved and you're putting it into my Patreon fund. So just like everyone
Why
else
wouldn't
should, right?
Yeah. Until I can find a way to steal from Patreon, I will continue supporting Generation 16.
Thanks.
You got it, dude.
Nice. If you are a patron of the $5 variety, you get access to the weekly commute, which is a vlog series that I do. I've been doing it weekly. I've actually been doing it weekly. Yeah, it's been pretty great. Where I talk about all the projects that I'm working on. I talk about anything else that's on my mind. I tell you what I really think about Phil and CJ. Hint, it's not what you think.
He loves us.
Well, it's true. Okay, maybe it is what you think. But anyway, but that money goes to support the show, mainly to do things like pay for licenses for the editing software and that sort of thing. So please consider supporting the show. And yes, the feedback on Gain Ground, the Gain Ground episode has been really positive so far. So it's really great to hear. And positive on this show. Thank you guys. And yeah, super proud of the way it turned out. So please go check it out.
Outstanding.
Cool.
Is that it then?
I think that's it.
All right then. CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Oh, is that your new thing?
No.
Dragging out the you.
No.
Let's develop that. I think we got something.
Okay. We'll workshop it.
That could be your thing that leads into my Gregory.
Yo.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
You got it, man. And of course, a big old thank you to you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single darned one of you. As always, take care of yourself, your loved one, your family, your friends. Do what you got to do. Be safe. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. And we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Toodle.